Okay, welcome back. This is part 2. Now, I'm going to go straight into it because we have a lot of work to do in this. I will tell you what colours I have very quickly. We have titanium white, Naples yellow, cadmium yellow pale, phaylo blue, burnt umber, a little magenta, a little crimson, and some black. There's one colour I missed, burnt sienna. Let's stick a bit of burnt sienna on that because there's a lot of burnt sienna on this painting. There's the photograph, you can see that. Now we've part 1 finished. I don't know if you saw part 1, it was fantastic. We lovely spray coming up, and we can start adding a little bit more to this now as we go as well. You know, a little bit of extra kind of a spray going up into the sky perhaps. But for the first thing we need to do is the rocks. We're going to finish all of this now. We will try and finish this in one tutorial, yes? It's just a load of rocks basically. That's all it is. When you paint one rock, it's pretty much the same procedure for each rock. They might have slightly different colours, but it's pretty much the same principle. So I'll paint one rock and then we'll just go along and paint all the rest of the rocks in pretty much the same manner. Alright? Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to do a very rough, a very quick sketch of the rocks and just the general outline of some of the bigger rocks, okay? Let me just find the pencil. Now, here we go. So you can see on the photograph now, I have this big one done, I have this one done, I have another one here, we have this one as well. We have another one kind of comes along like that and over. We have another one. So as you can see, I'm just being very kind of general now with the shapes. Very kind of quick, very loose. There's lots of bits of water now in between all of this as well, so not to worry. We have another couple kind of going up and over there. And of course you can add your own ones in as well. You can, of course. You don't have to copy everything exactly, but I will try and get some of the nicer ones in. There's a nice kind of roundy one kind of there. There's that one there. We have another big one coming up over it. So you understand what I mean? I'm just kind of doing it very, very loosely, that's all. Let's put a couple of small ones. Let's just kind of suggest a couple of small ones, even pointy ones like that, here and there. And just one or two going up into the wave over here. Another big one kind of like that. Now, I think that's fairly good for what we need. Okay? I think it will do the job. So let's take a medium. I'm going to go for a medium stubby brush this time, I think. I'm going to start with these ones up here. And I think if I get these right, everything else will follow. Now these are really in shadow, so they're very, it's going to be very dark. So very dark browny kind of a black. So let's dampen our brushes. Just dip it in some turpentine and give it a good old dry. So it's just a little bit damp, that's all. Just a little. Now, you might see my face sticking into the shot. I do apologise. I know you don't want to be looking at my bald patch on my head, and I don't want to be showing you my bald patch either. So, I do apologise. But look, it's a very wide shot, and it's just going to happen. I do apologise. Now, some burnt umber, and a little black, and I took a little bit of crimson as well. And this, I mean, a lot of this will be just sort of the undercoat colour, so the base coat, let's call it. I will be applying much darker colours to this later on. So look, let's just go up now and pick out the general shape of some of these. And I'm going to leave, where they meet, okay, I'm going to leave a little gap. And that will just tell me that there are separate rocks. Do you understand? And then what I will do is I will put the lights on that so I know where the lights are, and I can just pick out the separate rocks then, you see. So now you could, if you wanted to, just paint all of this like a dark brown and then start putting in your lighter shades of rocks, but you know, I might do a bit of it in a minute. Let's just see how we go first with some of these. Now I'm taking some sienna and some crimson, and I'm going to just start kind of picking out some of these bigger rocks around here. And look, it's pretty much the same for everything. It's just a case of I suppose the most important thing when painting rocks like this is to get that sort of 3D effect, or that kind of curvature effect on the rock. And it can be tricky, but it can be done. I'll show you how I do this in a minute. So let me just get some of these filled in. So you can see now I'm just filling in some of the darker areas first, you see? So I'm kind of picking them out as I go. Now let's take some more of that colour. I might start lightening slightly. So I'll take some burnt sienna, some burnt umber and a touch of Naples yellow. And that will give me a slightly softer colour. I have one over here. I go up into the wave with some. Now I want to go really up into the waves that splash with some of these, much more so than on the photograph. Let's see, now we have another nice one. It kind of comes along like that, and I'll cut in front of this one. So you're kind of beginning to see now how I paint rocks. These types of rocks. Of course, there are many different ways of painting these rocks. This is just one of them. Okay, so you can kind of begin to see we have some lights and darks going on. You can, if you want, I suppose, go along and paint a whole lot one color, as I was saying earlier, and then just start putting in your darks and your lights. And if I was painting one or two small rocks, in general, I would do that, but I think it might look a bit better if I just sort of pick out the rocks separately and just add separate little colours to them. Okay, and I really want this very kind of rough look up in the water up here. I want this to really kind of go up into the water and almost kind of disappear. Now we will have some kind of spray, a little bit of spray going over that as well, so not to worry. Let me take some burnt umber, and let me just get this nice one in over here. And don't forget, I'm not copying all of this exactly. This is just an interpretation of the photograph, okay? My interpretation. I will try and make some of the rocks similar, but in general, as you can see, I'm just kind of changing it as I go along. Kind of make it your own. Add one or two extra rocks in, or take one or two out. I'll take a bit of Naples yellow, and I might just go along the tip of that there, look, with some Naples yellow. And then you could almost stipple it down gently into the darker colour underneath, you see? And that will kind of give you that slightly faded look. It's going from light to dark. Understand? Okay. Now there's quite a lot of pink. I can see a lot of pinky colour in this painting. So I'm going to keep adding as I go little touches of crimson here and there. I mean, this one here, for instance, has a lot of pink. There's a nice pinky tone going through this rock here. And I'm going to add a bit up around there to that light, you see? Just dab, 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 very gently. Just with a rough brush. Okay, just like that. And you can do the same with this one here. And that dabbing effect gives that sort of, it's almost like a smooth surface, but you can see, you can tell it's being sort of roughened up by the water. So it's that kind of effect that the brush gives. Okay, let's go up here, add a little touch there on that. Let's perhaps add a little touch to this one. So I'll pick out the edge first, like that, and then I'll stipple it down into the dark. Okay, just take a fast look. Alright, that's not bad. That is not bad. That's kind of sticking up a little bit there, isn't it? It's sort of on its own, almost. I might go a little bit higher with this one here. Like that. And I could also even add a touch of warmth and a touch of light up here on that. Again, stipple it down. It's all about the stippling, isn't it? Excuse me. Now, so I'm going to keep sitting back now and keep looking at how I'm getting on. I'll go over here, I suppose, and get some of this done. We do have a bit of water coming along in here, so I'm going to take a different brush, nice clean brush, and I'll dampen it very slightly, just very slightly. Take some blue, a lot of white, a little bit of pink, and now I'm going to go quite dark with this and quite pinky at the same time to sort of match what's there. So I keep going till I get the colour I want. I think that's not bad. Maybe a touch more pink. And I'm just going to come along here and fill this in, look. So the water is kind of poking through here and there between the rocks, do you understand? And let me get another touch of pink and even a touch of brown as well. And I might kind of make it nice and dark at one particular section just around here. Make a bit of black with a little bit of pink, just run it through the brush. Right, so that's that, and then I'm just going to add a little touch of spray into that as well. So a little bit of white and a bit of pink, and just a little bit of spray coming down, sort of rolling across the water, you see? There we go. Now, so it's coming down and sort of merging across into those rocks. And again, what we were doing last time with our bright highlights, so we take a little touch of yellow and the tiniest little touch, let's try magenta actually, which is a nice strong colour. So a tiniest touch of magenta with white, and you could sort of add a little bit of that spray here and there, just very kind of loosely. Okay, just like that. A couple of little highlights. So let's just leave it at that now. That's pretty much, that's fine. Absolutely fine. We have some in between these as well. But before I do that, I'm going to just get some more of these, the highlights on these, and fill in some of these bigger ones also. So let's take some black and let's get some pink. So you don't have to worry now too much about this. Don't be too concerned about getting this absolutely perfect, okay? We're just filling in general, the shapes. Look, and it's difficult for me to describe how the paint is. It's not very thick, but it's not very watery either. It's kind of in between. It's sort of in the middle. So it's a nice kind of a thin, creamy kind of consistency. You see what I mean? And I'm using all of the brush. I'm pushing it out, leaning right down hard on my brush, getting all that paint out of the bristles. I know a lot of you would probably just use the tip of your brush like that, but I don't. I like to really get down hard and really push the brush on the canvas and get some nice colours. Now a little touch of magenta with some burnt sienna, and I'm going to go along, let's just say there's one over here. And this is a nice sort of a medium colour. Again, as I said earlier, I will add darks to all of these. Alright, let's imagine there's another little one in there somewhere, and another one here. If you find this a little bit thicker, just take a touch of turpentine. That will thin it up again for you, okay? So you're only adding little dabs of turpentine to the paint as you go. Little dabs. And we have a nice dark, let's put a nice dark one in here. Just checking out that you can see this corner over here. You can, yeah. The camera is kind of zoomed right back. So I'm trying to get as much of the shot in as I can without going too far away, because I know it'll only spoil the video if it's too far away. You won't be able to see exactly what I'm doing. I might zoom in a moment on sections when I'm doing the highlights. Yeah, that might be a good idea. I think that might help. Okay, let's take a touch of Naples yellow in that, and it's going to sort of turn a sort of a grey brown. Naples yellow is a fantastic colour in that if we take some burnt umber and some Naples yellow, it has a very chalky consistency, so it really lightens colours wonderfully. Understand? So for example, let me go along here. You see, it's a very sort of a great chalky browny kind of a hue, and it's a very natural colour. I've always used Naples yellow. It's really a wonderful colour to use. You should definitely try it. If you don't have Naples yellow in your box, you are missing out, folks. I tell you, you are missing out, because you can do so much with the colour. Let's take some Naples yellow and a touch of magenta, and that will give us a wonderful warm sort of a pink tone. And you see, what I'm doing with this pinky kind of a colour is I'm complementing this pinky colour with the mauves in the waves. Do you understand? It's all about sort of complementing colours. I think, excuse me, I have an awful cough today. I think a lot of painting is about complementing colours. And that's what kind of makes a composition really work really well. So you need to complement your colours. If you have colours on your canvas which are really kind of clashing, it just doesn't work, does it? And you can see that on the canvas. So complementing colours is really a good way. And the brown and the pinks and the brown and the yellows, they all kind of help each other create a warm atmosphere, I think. Right. What I want to do is get some of this nice watercolour in around here, okay? So I'm going to take this brush I had earlier and let me dampen it just ever so slightly, just a touch. And I'll get some white. I've no white left. Let me get some white out here. Isn't this coming on nice now? You see, I'm just kind of picking out shapes and picking out shapes and colours. That's all it is. Okay, let's get some white and let's take a touch more of the blue and let's get some pink and a touch of magenta even. Now, when you have that nice dark colour there, right? All you need to do then is, let's take a touch more pink. So dark plummy colour. Let's just add a little touch of burnt umber then into that. And that will dim it down slightly, but keeping more pink in it, you see? So it's a nice dark mauve kind of a colour. Because of course it's in the shadows in here, isn't it? And we can add some lights to this then later on. Okay? So, but for now, let's just kind of sort of almost mix it into the bottom of the rocks, you see, and kind of picking out the colours from those rocks and softening those colours sort of down into this colour here, this blue. And I'm just doing this now very lightly. See? Look, go over this rock here. Let's take a bit more pink and let's add a touch of white. So we now have a nice pinkish sort of a tone, or a hue, as it's probably better called in the art world. There's lots of different terms that you'll see artists using, hues and tones and values and all that kind of thing. I don't talk like that when I'm painting. I just talk colours. Now, I know it's probably wrong, but I like to keep it simple. And talking in all these fancy words, I find that you hear a lot of artists talking, it just makes it sound a lot more complicated for amateurs. And it's not their fault, that's how they've learned, but it doesn't really help beginners, I find, trying to learn all these new words and this kind of terminology that's used in the art world, values and tones and complementary colours and all that sort of stuff. Of course it's important, but art is, for me, about expressing who you are, expressing the person inside of you on your canvas, and as long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters. Okay, so So don't be taking any notice of anyone who's saying, no, you have to use the proper hues or the proper tones, or your values are wrong. Take no notice whatsoever. Right, there we go. Let's just fill this in all the way across. And it's changing all the time. The more paint I add, the more it's changing, and the more things I'm learning as I go as well. So we have a nice kind of a colour going on in there now, don't we? Now, don't worry, a lot of this will be covered with little rocks and stuff. I'm just getting the sort of the base colour kind of in here. Now let me take some blue with some white, and I'm going to start adding some lighter colours. So let's see, there's a bit of light kind of catching here and there. And I'm just with the tip of my brush, look, just adding a couple of little wiggles, and they're always horizontal, you see. Notice how when I'm painting this, everything is horizontal. You see, look, left to right, left to right. I'm not going up or down. I'm not going at an angle. It's always horizontal. And it's just kind of catching a little bit here and there, that's all. A little touch of light, a little dab. See? That's all. Doesn't have to be perfect. I don't care that it's not perfect. Little touch perhaps over here. Now let's sit back and take a look. That's not half bad now, is it? Okay, let's crack on with some more rocks. Let's get some black, and let me see, what have we down here? We've some nice kind of warm colours going on down at the bottom. Let's take some black, a touch of brown, some burnt sienna, perhaps a touch of white, and that will give me a nice natural colour for the one I have down here. So I'm going up into that water now, you see? Right across, a nice big rock over at this side. And let's take more, let's perhaps add a touch of white into that. And a touch of magenta. That'll just make it a little on the pinky side, which would be nice. And we have a lot of more rocks over here, you see, just put in a general shape. And another one here. I notice now my colours are starting to go a little kind of chalky. That's fine. I like when they're like that. There we go. Let's redefine this one here. Let's just take a little burnt umber and a little crimson. I don't have crimson, but a little magenta will do fine. Let's just redefine this little guy. And we have a couple more alongside him here and there. Just very loosely pick out some, let's just call it like bits and pieces, bits of rocks and pebbles, all that kind of stuff. Now a little bit of crimson, and let's get some crimson. Let's just start warming this up very slightly now. Crimson with sienna, lovely warm colour. And let's take a bit more, and let's add a bit to this one here. A little bit of darkness just on that. And let's put one or two just there like that. This is kind of the easy part really. The slow part will be filling all these in with the darks and the lights and so on. We have a couple there, look, a couple of little pebbles. And it's good now that I'm picking up some of the blue, you see. It's making some nice tones, different tones and hues going throughout. Isn't that right? Like what I was saying earlier, I try to avoid using that word, hue and tone. I'm just messing, that's all. I'm just messing with you all. Right, here we go, a little bit there. Alright, let's stick a couple in around here. Now we'll go nice and dark with some of these. Some burnt umber, a little touch of black. Okay, Every now and again clean your brush, give it a little dip in your turpentine just to give it a nice clean. Now black with crimson, which is a lovely dark colour. Let's get some of that going and put a couple of nice dark ones around the place. Just kind of dot them around. A little touch of sienna, as I'm picking up different colours as I go, you see, look, little touches of sienna, little touches of crimson, and I'm adding all these colours as I go along. Just have a bit of fun and keep it simple. Don't try and overcomplicate all of this, because I find the more you try to make things complicated, the harder it is, and you just will not get the result that you want. That's kind of my take on it all. Now I'm keeping these as round, well not round, but a smooth sort of an edge on them. No sharp corners or anything like that, because it's right on the beach, so they will be kind of curved rocks. They won't be so much jagged, if you understand. Now, right, I'll sit back again and I'll take another look at this. Yeah, it's coming on quite nicely. It's not too bad now at all. I'm happy enough with this. Right, I'm going to start, I think. I'll put this down. I'll take my small stubby brush and start putting in some nice strong darks and shadows, yes? And we can use a dry brush because this is all very wet. Alright, just a dry brush, no turpentine. Let's mix up a nice dark mauve kind of a colour again. But a bit more blue, I think, in the mix. So a bit of blue and a bit of pink. And it's a very dark purpley colour. Let me just have a look at this now and see. So I come up here to, let's see now, let's do this one here. So I'm going to add, let me just check now, that looks a bit bluey to me. I'll take a little bit more pink. If the mix is too blue and you put it on brown, you will end up with a bit of a greeny kind of a colour. So let's make this nice and warm. So like a warm, dark kind of a reddy, grapey kind of a colour. You see, it's a kind of a dark purpley reddy kind of a colour, alright? I'm just going to go along the end of this. Okay, just a little like that, just sort of on one side. And I'll go along, let me take a bit more red in that. I catch some of the darks. Now the darks are all kind of on one side, aren't they? So they're kind of all on the left hand side. So let's just go along the left hand side of the rocks and gently soften them out then, just by kind of dabbing, dab, 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 you see? Out into the dark, or into the light, sorry. Just dab your brush, and if you want, if it helps, you can pick up your little stippler brush and you can use a little stipple. See, look, an old worn brush, and you can just go along and stipple like that, merging them together, soften them down together. You see what I mean? So now already we have a light and a dark, don't we? So let's continue on. Let's put another nice strong dark colour here. And then again, let's just soften that across. Now if you're not confident enough to do this way, you can quite easily just paint a dark rock and then put your lights on and soften them together, stippling, or you could paint some bright rocks and then paint in all your shadows and dab them all together. You could do it that way as well. It's very simple. I just like putting on the base colour, which would be brown. I see a lot of browny red in this painting, so I like to sort of put on that colour, which is, let's say it's a medium shade, and then put on lights and darks, or darks and lights, whichever way you like to do it. That would be my way of painting a basic rock, let's say. Now let me take a touch of sienna and a touch of crimson in that. Of course, like some of these won't have the very same sorts of shadows. Some of them might be more on the browny kind of side. Others might be on more of the bluey side. It depends on what colour the rock is. So if the rock is a browny kind of a rock, then the shadow will be more of a dark reddy brown colour as opposed to a purple. Alright. Now we still have lights to do on this yet, so not to worry. The bright highlights then will bring everything to life. Let's go along and put a nice couple of darks around on these here. Let's go along and do maybe a nice strong dark on this one. In fact, we could even take a little bit of black on some of them. Let's put a bit of black on this one. And I'll take a little bit of a blacky brown on this. And say this. And then let's stipple them all together. And how is it looking? It's not that bad now yet, is it? We're getting there slowly. Let's take some more pink, a bit of blue, nice shadowy colour again, and let's go along the bottom of this one here, like so. And as it comes up, I might add some sienna to it, just to warm it that little bit, and then I'll stipple that together. There. That's not a bad old looking rock now, is it? Let's do the same with this, so nice and dark down around the back here where it's nice in the shadows, and then let's soften that up again. Dab, 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 dab. So I suppose we could really, we could just call this a rock tutorial. It's not so much a seascape tutorial, is it? It's more of a rock tutorial, I think. Now let's get some brown and some crimson, and let's darken some of these with just burnt umber because they're actually quite brown. So a dark burnt umber would even be enough for some of these. You see? And I will put a lot more blacky shadows in here and there as well. So let me see, for instance, let's take some black and some crimson. That's always a nice colour. Black and crimson. I know this probably just looks black now on camera, but it's a warm black. And let's just go along here and fill this one in. I'm only doing the bottom half, and let's go along and do another one or two, say around here. And we have a nice dark one here. And again, take some more black and fill this one in here in between these two. And let's soften that up. I find stippling is probably the easiest way to soften colours together like this. Okay. Alright, I'm just sitting back and I'm looking. This is coming on quite nice, I have to say. I am quite impressed so far. And I love when that happens, you know, when you really think to yourself, I didn't think I was going to do it this well. And it really, you really enjoy it then, don't you? A little bit of burnt umber, some burnt sienna. And I'm going to just put an extra one or two around the front here. So I really want to block this section in nicely. Another big one perhaps just poking up there. Like that. Now I'll darken this way down, yes? I'll use a slightly bigger brush for that. Now I'll start with a bit of burnt umber and crimson. So let's say more crimson, more burnt umber, dab that up into the light then. And down at the bottom then, I'll take a little, perhaps a little purple, so crimson with some blue. And get another bit of dark colour, perhaps a little bit more blue. And then finally some black. And soften them back up then again. See? And there's another rock done. I'll do the same on this, but then this one is going to have a slightly different highlight colour, because it's almost like there's a hint of green in this rock here. Now I'm not sure if I want to put it in, but I definitely want to put a nice bright highlight on that rock. I'll take a bit of brown for this one. Just get a bit of shadow on that and soften it across. And soften this one. So it's all coming along nicely now, isn't it? Right, there's one or two things I want to do before I continue. And that is, I just want to redefine some of the water kind of moving around in between those rocks. And the way to do that is, and this is how I kind of would approach this type of a thing. I haven't done something like this in a while. Let's just see how it goes. Now, let me get some blue. I need some phaylo blue on my palette. Lovely phaylo blue. And I have pink, yeah I do. So let's take a little phaylo blue, a little crimson, touch of magenta perhaps. Let's get this nice bright mauve kind of a colour going. And would you like me to zoom in? Or what do you think? I think I'll have a go as it is. And I'm just going to basically go along and sort of sit those rocks down with this colour. And it's a nice bright colour. Let's imagine there's water kind of coming around this rock here, down like that, kind of flowing around. You see? Clean your brush when it gets dirty and then pick up more. And let's go along here. Let's imagine there's water kind of flowing around some of the rocks. Just kind of, you know, washing through some of the rocks. Do you follow? Now we could take a bit more blue if you like and make it a bit bluer, just to simulate the blueness of the water perhaps. But I don't want to go too blue because it's more of a sunsetty type of a colour. And again, I don't want to clash any colours. Let's take let's try a touch of a pinky kind of a white. Let's try some of that, yes? And see what happens. Okay, let's put a bit of a pinky colour in here. Yeah, that's not bad, is it? Let's go along here with that. That's a nice colour. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? I like that colour. See? And then we could even, with a small pointy brush, let me find a nice pointy brush now for this. Okay, where is my nice pointy brush? I'll try this one, okay? Little pointy brush, and let's go for some white, touch of blue perhaps. And we could, let's imagine there's some kind of running along, even running off of some of the rocks, you see? So even, let's take, no, let me see now. Let's go over here. Let's take this rock here, for example. Let's imagine there's water kind of coming down off of that, okay? And there could be some coming down there in between the rocks. How does that look? Okay, not bad. Follow? There could be a bit coming down here. And then you could add nice bright spots here and there, look. And again, you know, you could add more rocks in if you like. But I'm just kind of giving a general impression of what you might see. You could add a little dark for, there might be little bits of reflections as well going through some of these. You see? Little tiny bits of reflections. Just dotting them around here and there. So now you can see it's kind of slowly coming to life, isn't it? Bit by bit. Right, I'm going to start getting some nice real darks in here now. Some nice real dark colours. And I'm going to go for some blue. Let me just turn off my heater here because it's baking hot inside the studio here. I have my little heater on next to me and it is absolutely boiling. So I must cool down. A little bit of crimson, a bit of blue, and a touch of black. And that's going to be a real dark shadowy colour now, alright? Let's just get some of that in. Just here and there on some of the dark sides. You see? And let's go a little bit here. And let's put a nice one around here. So are you following what I'm doing? I'm just taking some black, some blue, and a little crimson. I'm putting some really nice dark colours at the back end of those rocks. Okay, down on the left hand side. Just a little. I won't go mad. Just on the very, very backs of those rocks. There was a lot of dark in there. Let's go along on the back of this one here. You see? I'm leaving a little piece on the front where the light will be catching in a minute. Some more blue. Let's get some magenta. Let's try some of that. A touch of black. So it's a really cool kind of a dark, yes? So now you can see the shadows are kind of really starting to make everything pop, aren't they? Let's put a bit on that here. Nice dark around there, in behind that. And you see, when you're putting on the darks then, you're actually showing off the brights, the light side of the other ones, you see? So if I put a dark in here now, like this, okay? You can then see the light of the other one. Isn't that right? Okay, let's go in around here. And we have another one. I'll darken this a bit here, it's a bit light. And let's get some more magenta with some blue. And let's go along, say along this one here. And we'll darken this. And we'll darken this. Okay, now let's leave it at that for a moment. And I'm going to go along again and just soften just the edge of that dark, okay? Just soften it with the brush. Stipple, stipple, stipple. See? And that gives you a nice merging effect then from dark to light, doesn't it? See, it's not that hard, is it? It's only rocks, it's only a bit of paint. Don't worry if you make a mistake. You can go over it. You can either scrape it off with your knife, or you can just put more paint on top. Whatever you think yourself. Now let's soften all this up here. That there. soften that, and soften this and that. Okay, now I'll put another one here. I don't like the way that kind of sticks out, so I'll just go right through that one there, okay? Now, right, let's sit back. So we have lots of nice dark rocks there now, don't we? And I think the next job is to put some highlights on these. How about that, yes? Let's get some highlight going. I'm just going to turn my tissue to make it nice and clean. And there we go. I'm going to use the, I'm thinking the medium. I'll use a small stubby brush for this. So any small flat brush that you have will be perfect for this. And I'm getting some crimson out on my palette. And for this, for the light on these now, it's going to be slightly different in places because not all the rocks are the very same. Do you understand? Some lights will have different colours. I'll start with the warm ones, okay? Let's get some crimson and some Naples yellow and some burnt sienna. Now a good dollop each of that, okay? 3 colours. And let's see what happens. Now a bit more sienna. It's a very bright, ready, warm, bright, ready colour. And I'm going to start with this one here. I'm just going to get the shape of the bright side of that. Look, see? Now I'll leave it at that, just for now. Let's take a bit more Naples yellow. And I'll come over here and I'll catch a bit of light on the side of that. Okay. And I'll do the same on this one. And a little bit there. You follow? When it gets dirty, the tip of your brush, just give it a rub gently on some tissue. That's all you have to do. Now I've taken a touch more burnt sienna in this because it's going to get slightly kind of browner on some of the rocks, okay? Just a little. And I want to go over here. Now that's very red, isn't it? But it's very close to the sun, so it's going to be a much warmer kind of a highlight. Just pulling that gently around. And I'm thinking all the time, I'm thinking of the curve of the rock. Do you understand? So I'm following the sort of the curve of the rock around as it comes around. I don't know if that makes sense now or not, but it's kind of difficult to explain sometimes. So look at this one here, and we'll soften that in. Again, you can use your stipple brush. I'll use my stipple brush in a moment. Let's get some more Naples yellow. Nice warm highlight on that. Okay, see? Sort of merging it together. And it's just paint, nothing else. That's all. No thinners whatsoever. A little bit there. Perhaps a little on that. Okay, stop every now and again, take a look. Just sit back and have a look. Alright. And it's not exactly the same with the photograph. I know that. And I don't really mind, to be honest. I'm just having fun now doing this. Let's take a bit of cadmium yellow for a change. Let's get a nice yellowy, warm yellowy kind of a highlight on some of them. Yeah, that's nice now, isn't it? It's a nice colour. Let's go with more of that. Cadmium yellow, Naples yellow. And let's go up here with some of that. In fact, it's probably a bit yellow. Let's take a bit of white in that. And just go along. Yeah. I'll soften that in then in just a moment. Let's go along on top of this. Soften that down. Okay, there we go. Let's take some more Naples yellow for around the tip of this one. Clean the brush again. More Naples yellow. Let's take a touch of white in that, and I'll just go along here. See, this is more of a kind of a grey highlight then, isn't it? So we've kind of slightly different tones here and there as we go. I'll put one or two down here now. In fact, do you know what a nice colour would be, and a really nice highlight to complement what's going on? Let's take some white and put it over here into this pinky mauvey colour that we had. Now let's see what happens. Let's put a nice pinky kind of a mauvey colour on top of some of those that we had. Okay, let's do this one, look. Let's put a nice pinky mauve highlight on that. And clean my brush there again. And let's go along on top of this one. See, that's quite nice now. It's catching the light nicely, isn't it? You see, because we have a lot of blue and mauves going on, any mauvey kind of highlights will look very well together, you see? Just to catch the light from that kind of that spray. Now a little bit of blue and a little bit of pink, some white, lots of white now, lots of white in this. And we have a bright, some nice brighty pinky kind of highlights, look. There, and one or two here. And let's go around the top of this one, maybe with one, like that. And one or two around here. Like so. And let's go along and just give a little sort of a swipe on some of them, look. Like that. And then we can soften them together. So we'll do all a little dabbling in a moment, not to worry. Now some crimson, some Naples yellow and some white. That gives us a beautiful highlight colour. And let's go up here and do this one. And let's get some nice bright white with some Naples yellow for this. Okay. I'll dab all this together now with my little dabbling technique just to show you. Okay, let's take the little rough dabber brush and let's just dab, 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 dab the lights into the darks again. So you can see now it's just about sort of building up layers, building up different layers as you go along, making it brighter and brighter and brighter. So you don't have to go in with a very bright highlight at the beginning. You can kind of build them up slowly. That's probably the best way to do it, because you can see how it's changing as it goes, as opposed to just having one very bright highlight and a very dark shadow. I would do that sometimes if there wasn't a lot of detail in the rocks, but because it's such a big canvas, I want to really kind of go to town with the rocks in this one and really kind of get my technique. Try lots of different techniques. It's great practice and it's great fun as well. Right, dabbing away. You can of course use your palette knife for some palette knife techniques as well, if you want. Absolutely, why not? Let's come over here, let's just soften some of these in here. like that, and we'll soften some of this. Notice how I'm following the rock. You see the way I'm following the rock around to create the illusion of that curve. You see? That's all I'm doing. Just like that. Suddenly, we have a nice seascape, don't we? Huh? How about that? There's one or two little ones that I want to try and get. Look, this one here. And we have another one here. So there's a couple of little ones around the place. So that one, for example, and we also have one here that I want to catch. Not all of them now will have highlights. Some of them will, some might not. It depends on where they are. If they're behind the rock, like for this example, you might see just a little hint of a highlight just on top. See? But anyway, it's been a lot of fun getting my new channel up and running. But I tell you something, it's been hard work. I did get my old channel back as well, you probably know. But, you know, it's completely empty. There's nothing on there. I was hoping they would have the videos as well. That was the whole reason I kind of pursued it, was to get the videos. There is still 12,000 subscribers there, but I don't know if they're genuine subscribers or not. They probably just forgot about me over time, and it's just sitting there. But I think I might just concentrate on my own new channel and keep uploading the older ones. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Wouldn't you agree? Because it's an awful lot of work trying to manage two channels and start all over again. I don't think I have it in me, to be quite honest. Now I've just taken a bit of cadmium yellow, some white, good bit of white, and a touch of crimson, and I'm making a very bright, sunlit kind of a highlighty colour. I'm just going to go along. Here and there are, just on the outlines of some of the edges, some really bright patches, just sort of, see, just kind of catching the very edge. This one, for example, might have a little bit there, just around the edge, you see, just a hint. But I zoom in slightly so you can see what I'm doing here, because I feel like you're very far away and you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, that's better now, isn't it? So this very bright highlighty colour, look, and let's just go along some of the edges. Like that, okay. And we might have one or two around here. Little bit on this. Now doesn't that really bring the rocks to life? And it's just a little highlight, that's all. Let's go along to this one as well. And also here. So is this making sense? Now I hope this wasn't too complicated for you to follow, but I really wanted to put a good bit of effort into this painting because I felt it deserves it. It's just a beautiful scene, and I think if I rushed it and kind of skipped through a lot of stuff, it just wouldn't have the same effect. Does that make sense? Okay, now let me just get rid of that. So they're really now coming to life, aren't they? And to be honest, I wouldn't be a huge fan of painting lots of rocks like this in a landscape, but I have to admit, I really enjoyed painting this. I might do a few more. So Ness, thank you so much for this. It's been an absolute pleasure painting this, and thank you for letting me use your photograph. I hope I didn't spoil it for you. And so look, if I sell it, I'll give you a couple of bob. I'll give you some of the cash. Yeah, all about that. Me and Ness will split the cash if I can sell this for a decent price. Is that fair enough now, Ness? I hope you don't mind. But I'll give you something if I sell it. I don't really sell much painting, to be honest. I have, you know, where I live here in Cork, it's like there's not many people buying art, and it's very difficult to get any work into galleries and that type of thing around here. So really, online is the only place I can advertise my work, and it's very slow. I hardly sell anything, to be quite honest. I still have paintings hanging around my studio here from 2 years ago, even 3 years ago, on tutorials. They're still there. I just don't sell them, you know. Of course I have my Etsy page and so on, but I haven't sold a painting on Etsy in about 6 months, to be quite honest with you. But I don't mind, I really don't, because I just love painting. And sometimes it's not all about selling the painting. It's nice to sell them every now and again, but sometimes it's about just painting, isn't it? Do you agree? It's just painting, sitting down and painting. That's the joy of it for me. Now, if you know any places that might be able to sell work for me, I'd be only too delighted to send off my artwork and let them hang it for me. If you know any art galleries who would like to hang my work in their gallery, sure, look, let me know. You know where I am. I'll be very, very grateful. But anyway, back to this now. Let's get some nice bright colours going on this. This is lovely. This is turning out really nice now, I have to say. I might get a bit more pink in places. So this one, for example, bit of pink on that would be nice. Touch more white. And there we go. And look, my camera is nearly out of power. I'd say any moment it could just go off. If it does, I apologise. I'll just try and finish up here now with a couple of little bright little wiggles of water just here and there, just to catch the eye, you know what I mean? Just bring that little bit of sparkle to the water, that's all. Pure white, nothing else. Let me just take some of that off there now. And there, my friends, we have it. A nice little seascape. Let me zoom right back here now, let me see. Yeah. So there we are. A lovely seascape. I could kind of tip away just a little bit, just doing bits and pieces here and there. But in general, I think I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, and that was just the feeling of that kind of spray sort of coming up. And you could, as I was saying earlier, you could add a bit more to that. So if I just take a bit of burnt umber and some burnt sienna, and perhaps just add a little more darkness just here and there, perhaps even out on this side, you see? just a little, and go with a bit of shadow in some of it as well. Now of course that is dry, so that means we can add some shadow like that and then just kind of soften it through with our fingers. You see? Isn't that nice? Perhaps a little over here. And there we have it. I think that is a very nice success. Now what about a bird? Should we stick a couple of birds around somewhere? I'm thinking a nice dark silhouette of a bird up here in this corner, yes? And we leave this nice bright fresh corner alone. So let's just get some turpentine now with some black, and this will make a nice contrast. A nice little bird. Just like that, okay? And let me show you what we have achieved. Isn't that lovely? Nice simple rocks. As I said, you can just simplify all of this now if you want. Just put in lights and darks and merge them together. But it's nice to have a kind of middle ground colour also. So a nice warm colour for the middle shade, then a nice shadow and a nice highlight. And merge them together with your brush. And there we are. I'm very, very happy with that. And I suppose there is one more thing I have to do. And what is it? Come on, tell me. That's right, I have to sign, don't I? Because I won't sell it unless it's signed. Isn't that right? S. Conway. And you have been watching Stephen Conway oil painting. If you like what you see, do subscribe. I also have some other paintings on my Patreon page if you would like to see. I have one here which I finished of the ferry boat in Seattle. That's on my Patreon page. With lots more lovely tutorials. It's just a place where you can go to support me if you wish, that's all. Just to help me with materials, that kind of thing, because I'm doing all of this for free. I just love painting and I love teaching. So if you want to if you do want to support me, pop over there. And for like €1 a month or something like that, you get access to all my unseen tutorials and lots more bits and pieces, and we have an old chat and what have you. So look, let me turn this now. Oh, God. Now I need a cup of tea after that. A cup of tea destroyed in paint. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been lovely painting this for you today. I can't wait now to go away and make a nice frame for this. A nice big chunky frame. And look, you know what? I might even hang it in my home because it's so nice. I don't know if I could part with this. It's a lovely painting. If anyone is interested, let me know. Alright? It's for sale, but reluctantly I will sell it. I'm very, very happy with that now. That turned out really nice. I have a nice spot in my home for this. So go on, get your brushes and paints. Don't be afraid, just get your stuff. I had no idea how this was going to turn out. This could have turned out an absolute mess for all I knew. But luckily it didn't. Just take your time and just have a bit of fun. It's supposed to be fun. Don't be worried that you're going to ruin this or ruin that. Just put the paint on and see. Because every time you put a brush stroke on the canvas, something new is happening, okay? And you're learning something new. With every time you touch the canvas with your brush, you are learning a new technique. You know, sparks are flying. That's what it's all about. Just go ahead and try. All right, go on. Let me know what you think about this. Comment down below. I'll be back next week with another tutorial. A nice request for someone. So I'll see you then. God bless, and thank you very, very much for your support and for watching as well. All the best.